Here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I come out Pearl and Al's and I said, well, I didn't go to church up there and I wasn't going. Next Sunday I was in the car going to church. Or else.
And did they go out to St. John's UCC, or where did they
Yeah.
go to church?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
that's
where
in
they
41.
belonged. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I got confirmed the same year I come out there.
Oh, okay.
Rest of them, they had to go to 2 years. Well, my age was the same as they.
It was the
They
second
was in
year.
their second year.
Right.
So, well, they talked to Stockmeyer and he said, why, that'd be all right, don't you think? And they said, yes. Yeah.
So then your mom stayed in Defiance then?
Yes. Yeah. She went to Lutheran church when she moved into, yeah. Well, she didn't go for a while. And one time she explained it to me why. She said, I don't have any money to give to the church. Well, that ain't,
It's not why you go.
that's not
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But she got a little job. She worked there 13 or 14 years. They made the run the start of car seats for kids. That was developed right down at Swift Company. Well, I know you two don't know where that was, but it was off of Diedrich Street down. Milk was brought into Swift's. That was the name of the milk company. And that it probably had 4 or 5 women working there. There was no men worked there. Well, they could get away paying a woman anything they wanted to then. But anything she got was better than what she'd had.
Right.
Okay. So they made car seats?
Huh?
Car seats for kids.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we had one, but they weren't much of a. They was made out of steel, and then canvas over that where the baby just sat in. Well, that ain't much of a thing.
No.
Nowadays, what they got, they're completely in the.
That's
color.
right. Right.
Yeah, we had one, and I guess Arlene and I didn't really figure it out, but we had it sitting on the back seat. And to coming into Holgate, I had to stop pretty quick, and boy, it was probably Marcia flew up against the car seat. So I forget what I done. I done something. I took that seat back there and then run something up around that and tied it fast anyhow. I wouldn't have wanted to have a terrible wreck.
Yeah.
Well, we had a heck of a wreck when we lived on the Huffman farm. About the first year after we was there, and we was going 24 was rare then, and we come out of that drive, and there was a big truck coming, and a car from behind. Well, I don't know how it happened. Dad drove off of on the berm, so they could get. Some reason that truck drove right into that car, and that swung around through our car off of the road over in the field. That thing must have rolled 3 times.
Your car?
Yeah.
Seriously?
And it was an old wood top on them. They called them a touring car. And we was all sitting in them seats, how we stayed in there. Bob, he got kind of boogered up, but he didn't ever flew out of there. And how that happened, I don't know. Talk about the good Lord looking after
That's
you.
right.
So what year about would that have been?
That'd have been, we moved up there when I was 4 years old. That'd have been 33 then. Yeah. Yeah. And then, I don't know, they didn't get a car right away. I remember we went around with a buggy for a while. Suppose they didn't have any money to buy one.
Right.
Dad got a 36 car then, and I think it was brand new. And
So it was a while till you got a car.
uh,
It was a few years then. before
yeah, yeah. Well, we drove buggy to churches over to Florida. I don't really remember it, but we did. I started farming for Lily Loud, and she said, I remember you coming down the road and you was in the buggy. Well, see, some of my sisters were old enough to get married when we left Okolona. Yeah. Bob, well, let's see. Bob was the only one left that was home yet when we went over to Okolona. I don't know whether I ought to tell you that or not, but the Second World War was going on. That started in 1916. And, well, you know how pro-German they were in Freedom Township,
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
They didn't want their kids going over there and fighting. Well, they were going over. Well, anyhow, he went up to get some feed ground, I guess. That's what my oldest sister told. And they were all home then yet. And he went up there, and these two guys are talking in German, and Dad couldn't hardly understand Low German,
Yeah.
but he picked out they was talking about why we didn't have no business over there. And I said, if you don't like it the way it is here, why the hell don't you go back to Germany?
Yeah.
3 days later, our house burnt. Dad always claimed there was a guy running down the road with a gas can, and the whole front, it just rained, and lightning couldn't have done it because it was just all over. They must sprayed that goddamn gas around on the front, and boy, well, three daughters were sleeping in the rooms upstairs in the front. They had a hard time getting up there and getting them out of there, and finally, I don't know how old Lavina had been then, but that would have happened in, well, probably 10 years before I was born. Yeah. I come along 16 years later after my old
Your youngest
brother,
sister.
youngest
Oh, your brother.
brother
Yeah.
was born. Yeah.
So you were in Okolona at that time?
The rest of yeah.
When that
they were
happened.
east of Okolona and across the track. I don't know who even owns that anymore. But the house burnt down completely in those days when a
Right.
house
there was
caught
no-
You couldn't
all you
catch
could
it.
stand with
Yeah.
a bucket and throw it on, you know. Yeah.
So 3 days
But
later.
he
your
always
house
said
burnt.
it was set. And, well, I wasn't born. I was born at Stanley. Yeah.
So how many different houses did you live in, Grandpa?
Well, we lived, I believe all the kids were born in that house over at Okolona. I'm
Oh.
pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was about a mile out, and then the road goes over the tracks there. Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought they owned that farm, but I'm not sure. They went to live with great grandma and grandpa till they got a place to live. And then they got a chance to, that was a nice farm.
So where was that at then?
Huh?
Where would that have been?
That'd been east of Stanley, first mile, and go north.
Okay.
About the second house down there. It's a pile of junk now. They sold the lot off,
Be on the east side of the road?
west side of the road.
West side of the road.
Yeah, yeah. They always kept that all painted up, and it was good ground there. It had about 10 acres of woods on it. They made a good living on that. See, the 20s was pretty good for farming. Boy, when that crash hit in 29, why, 2 cents a pound for a hog to go to town. You know what you done with them? You kept them at home and butchered them.
Yeah.
And grain, 2 cents a bushel. And it went on for, well, the Second World War stopped the Depression. Everything began to build up, and old FDR come in. He got elected, and he said, he called his cabinet together, and we got to do something. We can't let this go on and on and on. And he called in 10 of the, darn near 15 people had the biggest share of the money in the United States.
Yeah.
Yep. Now that sounds ridiculous. And there's some got warning. Old Kennedy's old grandpa, they told him to sell everything you got. And he did it. And 6 months later, they bought it all back for 10 cents on a dollar. Now that was, you know darn well, that was all planned.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm hungry.
You ready to go, buddy?
Oh, I snapped when I was here.
Hey,